Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Arctic Pauper Show. I am your host, as always, Arctic Ghost, and this time I am bringing you Inside Out combo, Blue-White Inside Out to be exact. This was taken to a 10th place finish by Green Prinny, I believe 2 weeks ago now, as of this recording in the Pauper Challenges. I'm not exactly sure, it might have been 3 weeks ago, but basically what this deck does is you take Tireless Tribe, which you discard a bunch of cards and you build its toughness, and then you switch its power and toughness with Inside Out, and then you Shadow Rift to give it Shadow, and then you win the game. Because this guy will usually have 20 power, and you only have to discard 5 cards, which is not hard in this deck. So yeah, let's break the deck down piece by piece. Go through it as a deck tech. First up is the mana base. It is extremely straightforward. You have 2 Ash Barrens, 3 Evolving Wilds, and the rest are basics. You have 18 lands total, so there's really not much else to say. You don't really want many lands that come into play tapped, of course, because you're trying to win with this deck as quickly as possible. This deck, much like Izzet Blitz, can win as quickly as turn 3. Because you can go turn 1 Tireless Tribe, turn 2 Island, turn 3 Island, discard 5 cards, go Inside Out, and then Shadow Rift for the win. So that's always a lot of fun. Looking at the 1-drops, of course, you have the namesake of the deck, Tireless Tribe. It's a pretty cool old school card. I don't remember it being too good during Odyssey Draft. It had its moments. It never really shined and constructed. I mean, of course, there was plenty of Madness cards at the time, but Madness was much better. I believe that Odyssey and Torment are still in the same standard, but I'm not exactly sure. It's been so long, I really don't exactly remember. Were they? I don't know. I'm gonna go check. So it turns out they were. Considering the fact that Torment was, I don't remember. I think in either the same block as Odyssey or the block after it. So, whatever. I think I bored you guys a little too much. Anyway, moving on is Gitaxian Probe. Of course, this card's always great because it gives you a chance to look at your opponent's hand, which gives you perfect information so you know how to sequence your cards and play around things. And it draws you a card, and it's free. It only costs you 2 life, which when you're trying to win the game between turns 3 and 7, not going to be that difficult against control decks. Against aggro decks, you might not be able to pay the 2 life that many times, but I think you should still be fine. You have 1 Brainstorm since you do play 5 fetch lands, so why the hell not? You play that. I guess you're playing that over a Preordain. By the way, this is the exact list that I copied, except this had 3 Beckon Apparition, which I think it's called, which exiles a card in a graveyard and you get a 1/1 flying token, and I thought Relic was just better. And it had 4 Hydroblast, which I went to 3 standard there, and then it had no, it has Pyrostrums. It had something, Disenchant. It had Disenchants, and I put Deep Analysis in. I'll explain that a little bit later, but yeah, those are the only changes I made. Pretty much everything else is stock. I'm guessing that's why you play a Brainstorm over a Preordain. In this deck, the reason why you don't play Preordain over Ponder is because Ponder looks at 3 cards clean, instead of where Preordain you're pushing cards to the bottom, you're not trying to grind out. So in a combo deck, Ponder is just better. In a more grindy combo deck / control deck, of course, Preordain's better. So that's why Preordain is usually favored in Izzet Blitz or Esper Familiars, if you're playing these side by side and you need to only play 3 of one and 4 of the other. Anyway, you have 3 Dispels to counter removal, of course. 2 Giga Drowse. Now, Giga Drowse is definitely a great card in this deck because you're playing mostly islands, and what you can do is go at the end of turn, tap all of your opponent's lands, win the next turn. And since most of the good removal in Pauper being played is damage-based removal, most of it is red currently. Galvanic Blast, Lightning Bolt, Flame Slash, Scred, things of that nature. There aren't a lot of black-based removal decks. I mean, there's Teachings, and there's some other stuff miscellaneously, but You know, you get the point. Killing a Tireless Tribe with its discard ability is not very easy. So Giga Drives will usually be fine. Then, of course, you have Ponder and Preordain. Pretty much the best one-mana cantrips you can have. You have Shadow Rift, which is part of your combo. It's great because it gives Shadow, and it draws you a card. And it's instant speed, so in case you're stuck on 2 of them, you can just cycle 1. 3 Augur of Bolas, because not only is it a great blocker, being a 1/3 in the early game, but it does net you whatever you may need. An Inside Out, a Shadow Rift, a Giga Drowse, a Gush, whatever you may need. If you're lucky enough. Sometimes you do miss an Augur of Bolas, and it makes you want to just punch the wall, but when you hit it, it feels really good. No, really good. Like, really, really good. It's like that time... It's like the first time you bite into, like, a really warm chocolate chip cookie. That's how good it feels when you actually hit off this guy. Because when you miss, you really... You just want to... You just want to hit the wall. Anyway. So, looking on is Impulse, of course. It's instant speed, and it looks you at 4 cards. Allows you to look at 4 cards, sorry. Take whatever you need. 4 cards is a lot. So, that's why you play it. If anything, I would play a third one over the Brainstorm. I'm pretty sure I'm leaning more towards that as I have had fun with this deck. Then you have Inside Out, of course, the main combo of the deck with Tireless Tribe. It's great because it also draws a card. Then you have Circular Logic. This card is pretty good because you're going to put so many cantrips in the graveyard that this is pretty much going to be 1-mana counterspell, and it pumps your Tireless Tribe. So that makes it really, really great in this deck. I definitely like having 4 of them. I don't think I'd ever go less than 4. You know, I mean, turn 1, you might go Tireless Tribe. Turn 2, you might go Preordain and Ponder. Already you have 2 cards in the graveyard. You might go Taxian Probe. And then by turn 3, you might have 3 or 4 cards in the graveyard. Already, this is pretty much just 1 mana counter anything, which is just great. And then you have 4 Gush. At first, when I first looked at this deck, I was like, why is there so many Gushes in this deck? The fact that this is plus 3 cards in your hand... plus 4 cards in your hand for Tireless Tribe is pretty much what you're going to need. So keep that in mind. That is the main deck. It's pretty much a stock to what you would think that this deck would look like. Looking at the sideboard, you have 2 Lone Missionary against aggro decks, and Burn, of course, as always. 3 Standard Bearer for whatever you may need it for. Boggles, Stompy... Burn, it's still okay because it's basically a counterspell. Anything of that nature. Hydroblast against red decks. I don't think I would necessarily bring it in against decks like Kuldotha Red. I'm sorry, Kuldotha Red. Kuldotha Boros and stuff like that. The reason why is I know a lot of you would probably say bring it in for like countering Pyroblast. But the fact of the matter is Dispel's already very good at that. You know, so... This is not for this deck, this is just general, because I know I say this is for all the red decks. Not every deck that plays red you're going to bring this in against. Like, I wouldn't bring it in against Tron, so to speak. I'd bring it in against, like, Blue-Red Delver, of course, etc. Just keep that in mind. You have Piracy Charm basically to kill Standard Bearer, because you have nothing else that kills it. Also, you could bring it in against, like, Delver Blue, or Scred Delver or whatever, and give your creature Island Walk, and that's another way that you can win. So it has multiple functions. 2 Relic of Progenitus against Graveyard Hate, and then... I'm sorry, when you need Graveyard Hate. I can't speak today. Okay. And then 2 Deep Analysis. This is your way to kind of grind out against any type of blue deck when you're just trying to build up a mass amount of cards and win in a couple of turns. So yeah, that's the deck. One thing I wish that this deck could do would be give it the Tireless Tribe Haste, but unfortunately that is not in these 2 colors. So that kind of sucks, but such is life. But yeah, so I'm going to take this deck into a couple test matches, show you how it runs. We're going to see how the deck functions, how it mulligans, and I'll be back soon. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this deck tech, and I will be back with match number 1.